Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I create videos and content about toxic, narcissistically abusive relationships. And if you have a question that you would like for me to answer on this channel, make sure you send it to justaskmatt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Just make sure you keep that email 2 to 3 paragraphs max, and you're also very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, if I don't understand what you're asking, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. The fastest way, though, to work with me is to connect it through my coaching community. All of those links are down below. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe notification and hit the bell notification, and so you are notified each and every time I upload a new video. I upload new videos on this channel 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So with that being said, let's get into this email. So this email is from a person who is dealing with someone who they believe is narcissistic, and the relationship, you're going to hear through this process, the relationship moved very quickly. You hear me warn people about that all the time. I don't care how much you are in love. I don't care how great the sex is. I don't care how much money or how loving it seems like it is in the beginning. One of the things I try to warn people about is that even if this person is non-narcissistic, you are likely setting yourself up for failure because you don't know this person very well. And forget about the love bomb phase. Keep in mind that even healthy relationships have a honeymoon phase. And at some point in time, when it starts to drift down, right, and it's no fault of the other person or yours, you start to realize who this person actually is. And because you have not built a foundation, right, you have the potential of self-sabotaging or entering a toxic relationship and things of that nature. But let's get into this email and let's break down and let's see exactly what's going on. So this email reads, I'm very grateful for the chance to ask this question. Just over a year ago, I met this guy through friends in common. Now, one of the things I want to say about this is that sometimes people do meet a more natural way like this. In person, through friends, maybe at work, that sort of thing, rather than online. That does not give you the excuse to move quickly because you guys know mutual friends. I hear that a lot, where because we know people in common and we didn't meet online, that you think that it's okay to move quickly. Not saying that's the case here, right? But just wanted to make sure that people are very clear about that type of situation. So let's continue with this email. Things got complicated when I got pregnant a few months after seeing each other. Right? So very quickly, we have to be very careful about, I warn people about within the first few months of meeting people getting enmeshed. Children, moving in together, engagements, marriages, putting bills and cars in each other's names, right? Take your time. There is no rush, right? So let's see how this plays out for this person. Important note to this person being pregnant. His ex-partner was also 6 months pregnant at the time. Right? So no judgment, but we have to also acknowledge. So let's expand this conversation because I hear dynamics like this a lot, and I also hear dynamics where people are fresh coming out of a divorce or out of a breakup. And one of the biggest signs, right, of someone going into a toxic relationship is that there's major baggage, right? Major baggage, right? Am I condemning people who are going through a divorce or breakups or anything like that? Absolutely not. But if you are looking for a healthy, sustainable relationship, right, people who are coming out of situations like that need some time. They need time to heal. They need time to kind of put the pieces back together, especially when there's children involved. And you're going to see how this plays out because this becomes a little bit more difficult as we continue with this email. Fast forward, we didn't speak to each other for about 3 months. But when I found out the gender of the baby, we were in touch again. So one of the red flags here, you're pregnant. You didn't talk for about 3 months. This is supposed to be the father of the child, right? Even if you guys decided that you guys weren't going to try to have a relationship, 3 months and you're pregnant with this person's child, right? Of not talking and not seeing each other. Again, not saying, things happen, right? We're all adults. Things happen in terms of pregnancy. But for a person to not be in touch, for a man to not be in touch with someone who's pregnant for 3 months, right? We need to start acknowledging, right, that there's an issue here. We're going to read some of the reasons why. But when I found out the gender of the baby, we were in touch again, and after meeting up again, he asked me to move in. Remember what I said in the beginning, right? We have to be careful of the enmeshment, right? We now have pregnancy. We now have people moving in together because it makes it more difficult. Let's forget about narcissism and toxic behavior and toxic people for a second. It applies pressure to a relationship that may not be able to sustain it, right? Moving in, children, bills, things of that nature applies pressure. And we really don't even know who this person, we haven't even established communication issues, things of that nature. And think about it. If we can go 3 months without talking to this person and you're pregnant with his child, 3 months, and then he wants you to move in, now we have to start talking about bills, right? This is very, very concerning behavior, right? These are the type of things that, looking back, we want to look back at these things and we want to say, you know what, in the future, I need to make better decisions than this, right? Because this is the type of things that gets people in trouble. We moved in together, but his attitude started to change again, being distant, the silent treatment, starting arguments about tiny things, right? And this email continues. He was also having issues with his ex-partner. This is the reason why I said that we have to look back at the fact that his ex-partner was also pregnant, and we have to look at that as recent major baggage, right? That is something that people need to be really looking out for in the beginning of a relationship. Recent major baggage. Now, as people get older and things like that, everyone's going to have some sort of, people are going to have breakups, divorces, children from previous partners. We're not saying people who have baggage are bad people or anything like that, or they haven't healed, but recent major baggage is something that we have to be very careful of because of situations like this. They haven't established any sort of boundaries between the ex, right? There's a lot of blurred lines and things are very unclear with the ex, but let's continue. He was also having issues with his ex-partner around the time, and she also put a safety order against him. Those things aren't granted just out of nowhere. She put a safety order against him, which complicated him being able to see his daughter. Since then, he is constantly saying, notice the shift. This person has nothing. They went 3 months without talking. Now, this gentleman is now saying, since then, he is constantly saying that I am the reason that this person who wrote this email is that she is the reason that he is not seeing his daughter, rather than facing the fact that his mistreatment towards his ex-partner pushed her to get a safety order. One of the things I talk about with the reason why I keep circling back to this recent baggage is that if we don't understand like what the hell happened with the previous relationship, this person is going to recycle that same experience in the new experience, and that you already hear hints of it. That he's shift blaming, right, which probably happened to the previous ex. Notice that he's not accepting any responsibility. We have a person that probably not only lacks empathy, right, at the fact that that he didn't give two shits that they went 3 months of not speaking to each other, even though she was pregnant with his child, right? Doesn't hold the capacity to be able to accept responsibility for his actions with this person that. I mean, this was a whole relationship before this person was even involved. And then we also have this pattern of someone that is moving quickly from one relationship to another. And that's very indicative of a lot of narcissistic traits, right? Of a person that can't be alone. And because of things like this, they have to be able to shift responsibility. They need someone to project all of their negativity and all of the bad things that happen to them onto, right? And this type of behavior doesn't, especially moving in quickly and things like that, doesn't get better. It gets worse quickly. And a lot of times with narcissists, the reason why they move you in quickly and the reason why they want you enmeshed is because they want you trapped. It's very difficult to get out of relationships once they have you enmeshed like this. Let's continue with this email. His ex and I are in contact about the children and discovered he was constantly saying lies to both of us about the other person, trying to make us dislike each other, to turn each other against each other. That's called triangulation. It's a very common narcissistic trait, right? So we have projection, blame shifting. We also have triangulation, right? So let's continue with this email. And so her question is it common for the narcissist to blame shift rather than take responsibility? Not only yeah, but hell yeah. Is it common for a narcissist to blame shift rather than take responsibilities for their problems? And is it also common for them to try to put their victims against each other? Kind regards. Yes, not only is it common, but that's like classic narcissism, right? That's what they do. It's classic narcissism. Am I calling this person a narcissist? But we're pretty close there, right? We're definitely high up on that spectrum, right? This is very extreme problematic behavior, right? This is not something that should be taken lightly, right? You really should be looking at an exit plan if you're still living with this person. Especially what's really concerning is this safety order that he has with the previous relationship. The reason why I say that is that this is someone that has not learned his lessons based on the behavior that you've described. He already is not taking responsibility for the things in your relationship, right? And so he's still not taking responsibility for the relationship and for his mistreatment of her, like you articulated in the previous relationship. And so the reason why this is very concerning are the things that the person experienced previous, which is likely physical abuse, harassment, stalking, that sort of thing, which is the reason why this safety order was issued, is probably going to happen to you eventually if you don't get out, and if you don't get out safely. I would start looking at an exit strategy. You start looking at meeting with a lawyer, start contacting people, circle back with your support system, your friends, your family. I would have 2 exit strategies. One that might be, in this situation, a couple of weeks long. You guys should not have, if you guys, doesn't sound like you guys have been living together for a long period of time. So I would definitely be looking at an exit strategy based on not only his behavior towards you, but also because of the previous relationship and also things like this when you're pregnant and you're with someone who is narcissistic and has a history of potential domestic abuse and that sort of thing. As you're pregnant and as you get further along in the pregnancy, and and not only that, but when the child is here, narcissists get worse in those situations. They don't get better, right? And you probably saw that, or you see a pattern of that with his ex. Here's the reason why. Narcissists need everything. They need all the attention, all the adoration, everything like that. Guess who gets the attention when you're pregnant? You do. So you become problematic. In his eyes, you're the narcissist, right? So you become very problematic and they project, and you're already seeing a lot of this behavior already. And this behavior is likely going to escalate. And quite often people trick themselves. They say, well, maybe the baby will fix it. Maybe they'll settle down. Maybe they'll mature once the baby is here. No, the fuck they don't. No, they do not, right? As a matter of fact, quite often it gets worse because guess who gets the attention then? The child, right? And so in situations like that, narcissists need, you've probably heard me talking about narcissistic supply a lot. Narcissists need narcissistic supply. They need all the attention all the time. Everything has to be about them. And so you getting the attention and the child getting all the attention, right? Guess what? They have to begin to mistreat, because a narcissist, they're going to get their attention. Even if that is through negative attention. Quite often narcissists like negative attention more than they do positive attention, right? So this type of behavior that you're describing, it's likely to escalate. And the reason why I'm very comfortable with saying that is because we have a history of it with his ex. So I would definitely 100% be looking at an exit strategy. I know it might be difficult because you're enmeshed right now, right? It's not going to be a clean break if you decide that that's the direction that you want to go down. It's not going to be clean. It's not going to be simple. This is not going to be a situation where you need to go sit down at a coffee shop and say, hey, this isn't working out, right? That shit's not going to fly. It's not going to work, right? I would develop a system with friends and family member and come up with an exit strategy. Thank you very much for writing in. Anyone else who would like for me to answer a question here on YouTube, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. If you would like to connect with me, the fastest way to work with me is going down to the links down below and connecting with my coaching program. Also, if you feel like you need more intensive one-on-one attention, you can. I have links down below to BetterHelp. Using the links down below, you'll get 15% off your first month, and you can connect. You can literally connect with them today. So with that being said, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.